Down out. What's up, everybody? You are tuned into the Elks Call, your home for Edmonton Elks fan talk. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine.
Coming to you live on Shotgun Sports Network with the replay airing exclusively on Edmonton Sports Talk. Catherine, the Elks are 6-2. What did you think about the vibes these last couple of weeks?
It's been great. I think, we're going to talk about the game and everything, but the vibes have been wonderful. We've heard a lot of people talking about how even the perception of the team has changed. And the other thing that I just noticed is that I forgot to change my hat. So now you get to see me wearing a Blue Jays hat instead of a double hat. It's been one of those afternoons, but
just one of those days, just one of those episodes. It's been one of those last couple of weeks, which is good. And of course, maybe not so positive with the last loss, but we'll talk about that. I think there's a lot of positivity that we do get to talk about in the return of the Upper Bowl and all of that. So very, very fun episode up ahead. And we can't thank everybody enough for rocking with the Elks herd. Please hit the like, subscribe, and favorite buttons, as that is how you show some love around here. All right, let's get into the schedule for today. It is as follows. We are going to open up this show with The More You Didn't Know, where we have a chat with our guest. After that, we will give you Kathy's herd report, talking about the latest news, transactions, the game, everything double E. Then we will do a What's Your Fantasy mini segment. And then, of course, we have the Edmonton Sports Update. A lot of playoffs we're going to be talking about today in the Edmonton Sports Update. And then finally, after that, we do have Green or Gold, our take on Hot or Not. And then we will cap this show with a very big fan forum. Got some hot topics. Can't wait to talk about them. We are interactive here at the Elks Call. We already see some herd chat comments rolling through. Sue, Pierre, what's up, everybody in the herd chat? Make sure you get your comments and questions into the herd chat, and we will do our best to get them onto the show. But let's get this show rolling with The More You Didn't Know, where we talk with our guest. This segment is brought to you by Royal Retros. If you like throwbacks, you're going to love Royal Retros. You're looking for that perfect throwback jersey, such as the 5P back there, you can go get yours over at royalretros.com. They are the throwback kings. But without further ado, please welcome to the show, co-host of the Piffles podcast and Royal Retros enthusiast himself. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Alex Dormuth. Oh, we had him.
Oh, yeah. Do we have him?
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. I cannot see you.
I have no idea what happened there.
This is interesting.
Let me stop the video and I'll try starting it again. See if that.
Oh.
I feel like this stream has been cursed right from the get-go.
Need a smudge in here on our stream. Would you like to rejoin us, Alex?
I will rejoin. Give me 1 second here, guys. Sorry.
No, sorry. Sorry.
Maybe that gives me time to go change my hat, because apparently it's just one thing after the other around here.
Well, that was Alex Dormuth. No, I'm just kidding. We do have something that I can bring up in the meantime. I can talk about this. Let's just plug the news now. Oh, wait.
Hey, there we go.
There you are.
That was quick. Thanks, man. That was really quick. Thanks a lot for joining us despite the technical glitches tonight, as we were late, and obviously you turned into a ghost for a minute. So
yeah, no problem. I don't have my Royal Retros jerseys with me in this room right now, but man, I got some of those old U.S. expansion ones, the Birmingham Barracudas, and my favorite, the Memphis Mad Dogs. Great stuff from Royal Retros.
Oh, they're fantastic, great folks, and of course, even better jerseys. Yes, we did use the Cudas jersey with real Alex D on the back, because I actually had misquoted. I thought it was a Dunnigan you had on the back, but it was not. It is real Alex D.
You know, actually, when I wore that at Grey Cup in Vancouver a couple of years ago, I went to where TSN had the panel, in one of the rooms, and Dunnigan was there, and he saw it, and he like stopped everything he was doing. I think he was throwing the ball with some kids, and he stopped playing with the kids and coming to me, and had to see the jersey, had to talk about it. And I mean, it was pretty cool, but I'm like, man, go back and, you know, throw the ball with the kids. Like, go make moments with that.
Oh, that's so cool. So really, really sweet. Well, we're really appreciative, really, really excited to have you on this show today. Viewers, if you are watching live, be sure to get your comments and questions into the herd chat. Awesome comments such as from Ginger Argo, where is Alex Dormuth's beautiful face? And then, of course, with the follow-up, there he is.
Love you, Dave.
One of the biggest super fans. Love to see it. But such as yourself, you are one as well. So I know that you were on the show in the past.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck have you been up to in the last couple of years?
Oh, just enjoying football in Saskatchewan. For a couple of years ago, it wasn't so great for us, and you guys can attest to that over the last few years as well too. But the last couple of years here in Saskatchewan have been a lot of fun, following the football team, and I mean, winning the Grey Cup last year and having a solid team again this year. It's keeping us pretty entertained and pretty busy here in Regina.
Oh, I can imagine. Actually, no, I cannot imagine it just yet. So,
you guys are getting there though. Like, that's what's so great about this season. I know you started off, you were saying that they're 6-2. I was going to say, well, they're not 7-1, but everything should be good for how everybody's feeling in Edmonton with this team. You guys have a really good team over there, and there's something in the water there.
With the way that things are going, there's a possibility that I will get to feel what you felt last year as well. So fingers crossed, we'll see. But before we get into that, because everybody wants to know more about, Saskatchewan, how they're doing. Well, maybe not everybody here in Edmonton, but you know what we mean. Let's talk about the Piffles podcast. You're one of the hosts, and that's part of your media background. So let's kind of talk about that and just tell us more about your career in radio, podcasting, and all of that good stuff.
Sure. Well, I worked just shy of 10 years in radio. Actually, today was the anniversary of my last day a few years ago. So I was the producer of a sports show here in Saskatchewan, the Green Zone at the time, and always on Twitter, always on X, right? And talking football, and people just said to us, to Steve and I and our friend Ferlin, who was our co-host in the first season of the show, they're like, just get off social media, shut up, just do a podcast already. Like, everybody's doing it. And it was like literally the next day, we're like, okay, let's do a podcast. So we kind of got everything figured out, and we were like, we just need a name. Like, we can't go something boring and call it like the Rider Report or, something like that, right? Like, we need something that's going to kind of jump out. And Ferlin suggested the Piffles podcast. And for those that don't know what Piffles means, Neil Piffles Taylor was a player back in World War II times. Like, he was a fighter pilot in the war. And the old stadium that we have here in Saskatchewan, Taylor Field, was named after him. Mm-hmm. So our first year of doing the podcast was the very last year at Taylor Field. And we thought that's a great way to kind of honor and keep the Piffles name going into the new stadium, which is just Mosaic Stadium. So there's no, it's corporate, right? There's no, local ties to it anymore in the sense of a name. So it was, let's go with Piffles podcast. And we all thought it was a good idea, and 10 years later, we're still doing it.
Well, and it's funny too, because Derek Taylor, when he was doing coverage for Saskatchewan, I remember his rebrand of Piffles Taylor, and all I could think of was, no, I think the Piffles podcast does it better.
Shout out DT, man, he's great.
Oh yeah, he's good stuff, right? Former TSN, and he's covering the Blue Bombers now. But talking about you guys, because you guys cover the Saskatchewan Roughriders, as we know, we have not gotten to cover a Grey Cup team yet, but you guys have. So what was it like getting to cover the Riders last season?
Well, we don't go to practices. We don't do the traditional media coverage that I mean, we have day jobs, right? So there's no time for us to go to a 11 a.m. practice and check out what's going on. But to finally get that run, like it was 9 years of the team pretty much not being very good. I mean, they had a couple quick little runs in 2017, 2019, getting to the West final, but it was almost kind of weird last year. Once the Riders won the West final against the BC Lions, all of a sudden it was just like, okay, well, what do we do now? Like, it's like, we don't know what to do. Our season's done right now. Like, do we just go one show like we have been and just do our one show a week? No, we can't do that. This is the Grey Cup, right? And so I still have a bunch of contacts in my phone from my radio days, and we got on Rider legend and Canadian Football Hall of Famer Eddie Davis for a chat. We had Jeff Fairholm, who is a Grey Cup champion with the Riders from the 1989 team. He listens to the show, and that blows my mind that somebody that we grew up watching and idolizing in our backyards watches our show. So we brought him on and just had a lot of fun talking, reminiscing about old Grey Cups past and looking ahead to the game. And sure enough, they won, and it was we weren't on quite the bender that some of the players were. I know Dante Myers, I talked to him just after he signed with in the NFL, receiver for the Riders last year. And he was like, I don't think I put a shirt on for 3 days. The receivers just went tarps off for 3 days. They were just having a party. And I mean, Ian Schaefer Baker, he was feeling himself. Like he's pretty ripped. And I mean, show it off if you got it. Why not? Right. I'd probably do the same thing if I looked like that. And he was just having a blast. And it was nice. It was really good because the last time they won the Grey Cup in 2013, it was in Regina. So we were out partying that night and whatnot, but I was working in radio at the time. So it's like, okay, well, now I got to transfer this into how I'm going to do with radio. And I didn't get to enjoy it as much as a fan that I wanted to. Whereas this one, it was all about just being a fan and enjoying a great season.
Now, would you say with doing fan-sided media, because you have been on both sides of the fence, I know we've talked about it, but do you think that, with fan-sided media, you definitely can let it breathe, you can kind of spread your wings as opposed to, say, being that unbiased professional in the field?
Absolutely. I think it's a lot more fun that way. It also depends on, the media. If you're a radio station like I was at, the one I was working for was not the one that carried the Rough Rider games, right? So they were allowed to be a little bit more unbiased and kind of tell it as it is. So it is kind of nice to not have to be restricted and kind of do whatever you want. So to be the fans, like, I mean, we pay for our tickets just like everybody else, and our opinions are no better than anybody else's. And we see, I mean, you guys got the chat going as well too. We got the chat on our show as well, and we love getting those comments because they're different than ours a lot of times. And it would be no fun if we all just sat there and just said, yeah, I agree. Well, that's not a very good show, right? So when we can get those comments going, it's a lot more fun.
Totally. That's huge benefit of doing live show, and especially having chat. And like you said, it's that differing opinion, right? I mean, let's say after a game, you can throw down your opinion as you guys do, because you do have, you guys have post game for away, as you had mentioned before we went live. So it's cool that you guys get the different perspectives from the fans, especially whether it be a loss, whether it be a win, somebody's going to notice something else.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened on the first game with the Riders and Elks a couple weeks ago. Was right after that game. Once I left that game at Mosaic Stadium, I wasn't happy. That was a fun game. Like, looking back on it, man, what a game that was. If you're just a casual fan and you're turning on the TV and you see this game, it goes back and forth, big plays. Defenses made some plays when they had to. And it was wild. And it came down to the very, very end, and a 57-yard field goal to walk it off. Like, that doesn't happen very often. So that game had everything. It was everything you wanted as a CFL fan. But me being the Rider fan was like, man, that secondary was awful. And I'm like, how could you guys leave Austin Mack open that many times. That wide open. He's 20 yards downfield and nobody's around him. And, KJG had himself a big long gain in that one too. And it was frustrating, but then you got to take a step back and realize, man, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I tried to look at that last week with this game, and it wasn't the prettiest game. I'm sure you guys could probably agree with that, but it was entertaining again. It came down to the very end. 2 points in both games. Like, there's not much more that you want out of that. Like, it's just a lot of fun that way. And it was just, gotta just take a step back and realize, man, that's weeks have been exactly what the CFL is all about.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, we look back and we can definitely sympathize, right? We walked out of that first game feeling elated, feeling lucky, if I may, but it was a very, very fun game. And then after this game is that frustration, right? So we can definitely sympathize. But bringing it to those 2 games, it's a battle. It was a battle for the first place, and it had fans of both teams, the CFL, everybody was excited and wanting more. Do you think that this was prime CFL product?
Yeah, absolutely. They're the top 2 teams in the West, and they showed exactly why. Like, you got great quarterback play from both Cody Fajardo and Trevor Harris. You had defenses making plays, and especially in the second game, the defenses stepped up a little bit more and made some big plays. It was everything that you should want as a fan, because no game should be a given. Both games could have gone either way, and there's not much more you can ask for. Like, if you're getting that kind of a product out, and you're getting, I mean, last week, Quali Conley, running back for the Riders, doing the Saquon hurdle, that went viral as well too. So I know they're still talking about it here in Saskatchewan, and he's doing interviews on it. So, like, that's what you want. You want stuff like that to come out and, watch the numbers blow up on TikTok and something like that. Like, if you can get something like that, I mean, it was only a 8-9 yard run.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have something like that, getting people talking about your league and getting them to hopefully tune in and seeing, okay, well, maybe an American viewer is seeing that on TikTok. Okay, well, I know the NFL's coming up in a month, but I'm not really into NFL preseason because that might be the worst product on earth.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check out the CFL because it's on CBS Sports Network in the States. So maybe I'll flip on a game, and who knows, maybe they become a lifelong fan.
Yeah, I totally agree, especially with the new demographic that we're trying to attract, or the CFL is trying to attract, right? There's a lot of traditionalists. There's a lot of, the older folk that have been involved with the CFL for years and years, but there's that big gap in demographic of how do we attract them? And it's like you say, the TikTok viral moments, all the coverage of exciting games or fun games, seeing the crowds, getting the vibes and all of that. That's how we attract some of this new, the younger crowd, as we may say. So
demographic, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, kind of tying in with this, because it is a very hot topic, and we would love your opinion on it, Alex. We see viral moments in the CFL. Sometimes it's for the game-winning rouge from a missed field goal. Things of that nature. I think you know where I'm going with this. Do you care to share your thoughts on if the 2027 rule changes would make the product better, in your opinion?
Short answer, no. Long answer, possibly. I like the rule changes put in for 2026 with the time clock, especially in the East Division, having the sidelines, the teams on opposite sidelines, all that stuff makes sense. I love that they got rid of the I call it a loser point for the rouge. If it goes through the end zone and it's not returned, I think the team should have to give up the single point. If you're willing to concede that for the yardage, fine, but I'm not a big fan of, you miss a 17-yard field goal, you get a single point. Come on. But for 2027, and I get it from both sides. I know a lot of people saying that it's trying to Americanize the game. I don't necessarily agree with that. I understand where they're coming from with that, because you're trying to fit it into a shorter field and make it look a little bit more like the NFL. But I think that's mostly and this was the problem with Stuart Johnson's announcement last year. He didn't explain the why. Why are we making these changes? And I think the change is so that we can get expansion. There's more stadiums available that are built right now, or cities are willing to build for a multi-use, get a soccer team in there, get a football team, right? They want something like that. To have a huge stadium that the CFL needs for their current dimensions, I don't think a lot of governments will want to put up a lot of money for that. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot more to it than just we're trying to shorten the field and make it look like an NFL field. No, it's really to get the game in more potential stadiums. So if you can get a game in Windsor, if you can get a game in Kelowna going on all the time, like that's good. You're expanding your branch, or you're branching out, expanding your fan bases. I don't love the field goal post being moved back. I understand why they're doing that, but it does take away the missed field goal return. Because how many teams are going to be kicking a 60-yarder if the field goal is at the back of the end zone?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I'm not sure many people will, right? Mm-hmm. If it's up front and it's a 45-yarder, yeah, you're probably kicking that field goal, misses wide. We've seen Tyreek McAllister had one. Trey Vavel, I think, had one this season as well, too. So the missed field goal returns, I love those. I know they're kind of few and far between. We don't get them every game, but it's such a huge, exciting part of this game. And I think we will lose, pardon me, I think we will lose that next year.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because even that 57-yarder from Vincent Blanchard, that play wouldn't have happened. Now the Cody Fajardo doink as well in that first game.
I want to say, because a lot of people, Rider fans, had the PTSD because that was the same end zone where he hit the crossbar in the 2019 West Final. And in that 2019 West Final against Winnipeg, I had season tickets in that end zone. So I saw he had his receiver. It was Kyron Moore, former Elk as well, too. He was open. He had his guy beat, and that crossbar. And when Cody hit that again a couple of weeks ago, of course, everybody started laughing. But when Cody was running off the field, he was trying to pump up the crowd. He's like, yeah, bring it on. Okay, I get it. And it's a testament to the kind of person that Cody Fajardo is. He's just a good, down-to-earth dude. And to see him still having that little bit of fun in a huge moment like that of a very intense football game, showed a little bit of humanisms that we don't always get from athletes in games, right? So that was pretty cool. And
I'm sure he's okay with that rule being with that.
Yeah, no one's happy.
Being changed, he's probably like, you know what? Yeah, I'm okay with that one.
He's okay with it.
That's hilarious. I do have some herd chat comments to get to here. If anybody does have any questions, make sure you get them in there. Ginger Argo does say, love you all, heading to bed. Got a huge tailgate in the AM. Scout Catherine, see you next Saturday. Alex, see you August 29th. The ever so traveling Ginger Argo. Chris Agar.
My boss was as nice as his boss, giving him all that time off.
I know. He's and he also has a really good pilot friend too. So
yes.
Who happens to be a EE season ticket holder. So that's always cool. Chris Agar does say agree. Sadly, the league lost the mentioned demographic. The only way to grow more than it currently is, make it more recognizable to kids to expand. So. And then I think I also see a comment here from Pierre. What up, Pierre? Can buy into the dimensions, cannot get on board with moving goalposts either. Leave them alone. It is a great compromise. So I do wonder if Stuart Johnston kind of hits a compromise on this, or maybe doesn't go full 2027 rules in 2027. What do you think, Alex?
I wonder about this because there's been a lot of chatter about rumors going on behind the scenes that the CFL is going to walk back the changes. I don't think that's totally what's going to happen, but I was told by somebody in the know with league proceedings that we should have an announcement sometime this summer from the league. What that is, I have no idea, but I do wonder if it's walking back a little bit of those changes. Maybe you keep the field dimensions, because when you look at a couple of the stadiums that the CFL's in, U Sports is in there as well too. And if U Sports and high school sports and everything else don't want to change as well, like the CFL said that they would pick up the tab, the teams would pick up the tab on moving the goalposts and repainting the lines or whatever they're going to do. That's a lot of undertaking to do every single week for essentially one game. And is it really worth the cost? I'm not sure. And I know I've heard a lot of people saying that they're going to give up their season tickets after this year. They're done with the league after this year because it's no longer the CFL. I don't know how many people have given up tickets based off that now. I don't think it's going to be a large number, but does the league want to take that chance? Because we do say, yes, we have to get younger, but at the same time, when the majority of your fans of your league is of an older demographic and they're the ones paying the bills, you kind of want to keep them happy a little bit too, because you're putting a lot of trust into a younger demographic that may not want to spend that kind of money on the CFL product, at least not yet. So it's an interesting topic, because I'm not so sure that they're 100% set on these changes. And unlike previous commissioners, we do not see Stuart Johnston out anywhere. He is very much a behind the closed doors type guy with his TV background. Of course, that's, what he's going to do. And I like that he's kind of in that realm. Like, I mean, I have nothing against Randy Ambrosi. He was out in the public a lot. Mark Cohan out in the public a lot, great public faces for the league, but what are they really doing behind the scenes? And that's the important thing, is to try and branch out, build the fan base. So I think that there might be some give and take with these changes.
Yeah, I could see that. We've talked about it before in the show, and we definitely feel that it was perhaps too many changes a little too fast. Like, you don't let some of these changes breathe. And a lot of people don't like change as it is. And not only are you changing one thing, but then suddenly you're changing a whole bunch of things within a couple of year spans. And it's like, well, that's not the same game that I signed up for. So I feel like they could have taken a more
democratic process, or
just a slower process. Like, do some surveys, talk to your current demographic, talk to your current clients, see what would work, and also take into consideration what they're trying to do for the league and growing. But man, it just feels like it was a little too much too fast. So I could actually see them backing off a little bit.
Well, it was kind of funny when he announced the changes, especially with the goalpost moving to the back. He said, well, we're going to get 60 more touchdowns a year. And you're looking at almost one more touchdown per game. And you look at the games in 2026, there's no lack of scoring. We've had some, especially, I mean, that going back to week 1 was one of the most fun weeks the CFL has had in a long time. Like, the scoring, if you like high scoring games, the CFL this year is for you. So where he's getting that data from, I have no idea. Are we going to get 60 more touchdowns with the field goal posts being moved? I highly doubt that. I really don't believe that to be true. So I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I do agree. It's an interesting topic. So we'll see. We'll see what happens this summer. But let's get back to the football aspect. How do you feel about the current state of the Saskatchewan Roughriders? How do you think they're gonna do for the rest of the season?
Well, this is a very good team. Obviously, you're a defending Grey Cup champion. A majority of that roster is back. Of course, losing some key pieces. You guys have Joe Robustelli, Malik Carney over in Edmonton as well too. But it's they're going through some very serious injuries right now, and I know every team has injuries except for Calgary. When you look at their I've never seen that before, especially in week 10 of a season. Nobody on the injured list or on the injury report that comes out during practice. But it's a lot of Canadian players that are going down for the Riders. And that's the big thing in the CFL. When you start losing starting Canadians, So day one starters for the Riders, out of your 7 Canadians, 6 of them are hurt right now. And that would ruin a lot of teams. That would put them in very, very desperate measures. The Riders were still starting 8 Canadians last week. So these guys are getting very important reps. They're getting a lot of meaningful gameplay. And we saw this last year with Saskatchewan. They went through a lot of injuries as well, too. And it was, I know every team says next man up, and that's the mentality that you have. And it's so cliche, but this team is living proof that if you truly buy into it, it works. And I think it's a credit to not just the players for being ready when their time is called, but it's the coaching staff to have everybody ready. So,
yeah, Corey Mace has done a great job over there.
And you guys are getting the same kind of thing with Mark Killam. Like whatever he's selling you guys, selling the team,
we're all buying
you're
it.
Buying, right? Like, and that's exactly it. It's a culture thing. It's from top to bottom. When Corey Mace came into Saskatchewan, it was the exact same thing. Everybody bought in, and I see the comments from Edmonton fans as well too. Like, I'd run through a wall for him. That's exactly how we felt with Corey Mace when he came in 2024. And first year he gets to, the West Final. Second year, or to the Grey Cup, wins it. So, I mean, the state of Saskatchewan right now is pretty good. Although, right now, going into this game on Friday against Ottawa, a lot of injuries, and not everything is all flowers and sunshine, because we still cannot find a kicker here.
For some reason, it's
feel that pain too.
Yeah, it must be nice to have a kicker who can you guys trust for a 57-yard walk-off.
Now we do. We went through a few years for sure of questioning our kicker in the position, but now with Vincent Blanchard, we feel safe. We feel safe.
Well, and I mean, let's talk about Edmonton for just a minute here. Got to know, as a Riders fan, what is the perception right now as an outsider? What is the perception of Edmonton and some of the hype that you're seeing from over there in Saskatchewan?
Well, I know Rider fans absolutely hate Edmonton. Have since the 80s, when it was the City of Champions, winning all those, back-to-backs, right? So there, a lot of fans still aren't over that. And for forever, Edmonton's going to be public enemy number one. Like, obviously, it's Winnipeg, who's our biggest rival right now. It was Calgary not too long ago. BC had a run as our biggest rival, in the mid-2000s. But it comes back to Edmonton and just always winning those. So a lot of people want Edmonton to just suffer for eternity. I'm not one of those. I don't want your team to win the Grey Cup, because I want my team to win the Grey Cup. But
fair.
To see what's going on in Edmonton this year is wonderful. It's so good, because, I mean, I'm wearing a CFL hat. I'm not wearing a Rider hat tonight, because I'm a fan of the CFL first. I'm a fan of the Roughriders second. I always look at it that way, because if something were to happen and the Riders were to fold, would I still watch the CFL? Absolutely, I would. So my love is for the CFL. And I mean, as much as you'd like to see the Calgary Stampeders, go 0-18, that's not a good thing for the overall product, right? Mm-hmm. So to see what you guys have gone through with the name change, with the fans leaving and the losing seasons, but now to start bringing them back and winning them back, and I know reverting back to the old double E ways. And again, talk about culture. It's the culture from top to bottom. It's bringing back those ways to make this team better. And fans are buying into it again. And obviously, I think winning cures just about everything. And it hides a lot of things at times. But I think right now you guys are on such a great track with where you are at and getting the fans back. And I know, watching you guys, watching the Turf District, everybody's, always happy to go to games and have fun. But the smiles this year I've seen from tailgate pictures and at the games, they're bigger smiles. They're happier smiles, because there is, we have a good team finally, right? And your team's not going to win every single year. That's just not going to happen. But if you can at least be in the thick of things, I think a lot of people would take that trade off, and then obviously win once in a while, right? So to see them doing well is a great thing for this league, because when you have the largest stadium in the CFL and you're opening up your upper deck again and you're getting 31,000, almost 32,000 people to a game in August on a long weekend when people might be going out of town, that's impressive. So it's really nice to see, and I could not be happier for what's building with the team and the fan base in Edmonton right now.
Well, and I think what's also really, really exciting is the fact that the rivalry is back. Like I have mentioned on this show multiple times, my first ever CFL game was Eskimos versus Riders. It was, a similar attendance, 32,000 or something like that in the building. There was another game they had 40,000 in the season. Forget exactly which one I was at, but it felt like that, and we will talk about it a lot once you're off the air here with us. But what it is it's so nice to see that rivalry back, and it wasn't overly chirpy. Obviously, we heard of an incident or two or whatever, but it wasn't overly chirpy. It wasn't anything crazy, but it just felt like the rivalry was back, because as we know, same deal. Like, you guys have the Bombers, we have the Stampeders, but the Riders have kind of always been a rival for us. And in years as of late, it just seems like, big brother is beating up on little brother. Like, every time we played the Riders, it was like, yeah, we got one in every once in a while, right? But you knew that the Riders were so much farther ahead in their rebuild, retool, whatever stage they may be in. And, kind of flipping it back that way too, it's great to see you guys win that Grey Cup last year, because I don't believe that the Riders should be held out of a Grey Cup forever, just like I kind of believe that the Hamilton Tiger Cats kind of probably need one at some point here too. Like, it's not like hey, maybe I don't even believe that the Stampeders need one every 10 years, but that just kind of adds to the parity of what the league is and should be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and talking about that, the Elks and the Riders play each other in the final game of the season. Do you think we're looking at a battle for home playoff games on game 18?
I don't like to get too far ahead of, myself in terms of games, because a lot can happen. Everyone's talking about Hamilton going to the Grey Cup, and one injury to your starting quarterback totally derails that, right? So I don't like getting too ahead, but let's assume that both teams stay relatively healthy. Both teams have their starting quarterbacks, which is probably the most important thing. That game could determine first. It could determine second and third. Who knows how it's going to shake out, right? But that's going to be an absolutely massive game. And watching these last two games, the back-to-backs here, how physical, especially that second game was. Like, it got a little bit nasty in the scrums on both sides of things. So, back-to-backs, the second game, it always seems to be a little bit chippier because you have that bad taste in your mouth from losing to them the week before, right? So there's always one team that wants to bring it just a little bit more the next week. The fact that it was the two top teams, the powerhouses in the West right now, and that game was not quite for the season series, but the second game, if Edmonton wins that third game at the end of the season probably doesn't mean much. So this sets up one heck of a finish. And that game's in Saskatchewan, I think, too, isn't it? So, but it's the very last game of the season too. It's not just, the Thursday or Friday, and then there's a couple games after. It is the final game. So if it comes down to it where that determines first place, like that's the story leading up to, that whole week for the CFL.
No, it will be a game for sure. Regardless, it will be a game, and we will be a ball of stress. I guarantee it.
Mr. G does say, I drove up from Calgary and it was worth it. Well, I'm not an Elks fan. The vibe was amazing. You could feel the energy. I want to say that's a Mr. Graham. What's up, Graham? All right. We won't take much more of your time here. Do have to ask Piffles Podcast, what is happening with this latest episode? Did you guys release it yet? And who was your guest?
We did our live show on Tuesday night with my co-host Steve's frenemy, his biggest frenemy, somebody that he loves to hate, Chris Strevler. Obviously, the Bombers, we don't like him here in Saskatchewan, but and Steve, he can tell a story, but he just was never a fan of Chris Strevler. And it was nothing personal. It was just like, the guy can't throw, he can't do this, whatever. I still think he was upset because Strevler always seemed to do pretty well against the Riders. So I think that was part of it as well, too. But watching Chris Strevler and what he's doing on TikTok, on X, his videos that he's posting, the interviews he's doing with players across the league. He did one with Tommy Stevens, the Riders' third-string quarterback, who's basically cut from the same mold as Chris Strevler. That came out. So we had a half hour with Chris Strevler, told some good stories from his career. Brought us in a little bit behind the scenes because Steve's first question was, "What's wrong with Winnipeg?" And Chris was like, "Oh, you couldn't wait to get that out, right? You couldn't wait to get that." But he was a lot of fun. So if you get a chance to see what Chris Strevler is doing, even if you're not a fan of the Bombers, like what he's doing to promote the league as well too, because he has a big following in the States as well too from his NFL time. It's there's a lot of good stuff going on. He brings us behind the scenes, talked about how he got his NFL pension, talked about how he got his first start in the CFL. So it's a lot of stuff that people don't, see on, everyday media, and to see him tell some of those stories is pretty cool. So our latest episode had Chris Strevler, and it was a lot of fun.
That's so badass. Yeah, I mean, everybody go check it out. That is at Piffles Pod, I want to say, is the at. And then where can our viewers and listeners find you online, Alex?
Well, I'm at Real Alex D on X. I don't really do the TikTok thing. I do the Piffles Podcast TikTok. We're trying to get onto that a little bit more, but like I'm pushing 40 here, you guys. Like, I'm not a TikTok guy. It's not my thing. But we're trying to have a little bit.
We've made 3 TikTok accounts to try to do it because we'll be like, yeah, let's try to do it again, and then we realize, yes, like you said, we're too old to do this.
Right. That's why we need that younger demographic coming to games so they can take over our social media feeds, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's always a treat having you on. As we said, that's at Piffles Pod. And then, of course, Real Alex D. Man, I can't thank you enough for spending your time with us tonight, chewing through some lovely glitches and technical difficulties. But no matter what, it's always a great chat with you. We can't thank you enough for having you joining us, not us joining you. Wow, that was a good one. And yeah, man, no, I'm sure we're going to see you again soon. Never know when we're out that way. Never know when you're out this way. So definitely hope to see you a little bit more than just the internet. Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, guys. I love seeing you guys' lovely faces, seeing the smiling faces, especially with how your team is doing. I know you guys are, it's a genuine smile that you guys are really happy about where this team is. So I know the majority of your listeners, obviously Edmonton Elks fans. So it's kudos to you guys for sticking through it and seeing this team do better. So thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. We'll chat you soon, bro. You bet. Cheers, man. And that was Alex Dormuth of the Piffles podcast. Great stuff. Great guy. You can tell I've done too many interviews lately where I don't know. Thanks for having me. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having us, Alex. We really appreciate it. Oh, wait, that's right. We're not on your show. You're on ours. But once again, that is Alex Dormuth. Great chat. Awesome guy. Thank you to the viewers. Thank you to the listeners. Thank you for rocking with the Elks Herd as well. You're over here on the Elks Call presented by Shotgun Sports Network. Be sure to give us a like, thumbs up, subscribe, all of that good stuff if you have not done so already. All right, I do want to bring up a little update here. It's a little update, a little announcement, if you will. So, as people may know, we like to put on tailgate competitions. And this year we have decided to build upon those tailgate competitions, we are going to bring everybody the Taste of Tailgate competition series. So, Taste of Tailgate, what is it? It is going to be a taco contest and a chili contest. Everybody knows about the annual chili cook-off. I believe we're on year number 4 of that now. So, chili cook-off, that's a staple. But on August 15th, if you are a tailgater, I will give you this information right now. If you are somebody that tailgates at the Edmonton Elks tailgate party, the Taco Taste-Off contest is August 15th. That's going to be at 11 a.m. on August 15th, right before the Elks game. It's going to be a fun one. Jason and Andrea are putting this one on and organizing it. So this is brought to you by Casper Stickers and Vinyl, Leduc Brewing Company, Roker Barbecue, Triple Creek Golf Club, and the Edmonton Elks. The Edmonton Elks have given us a massive prize pack. Catherine, you saw the prize pack.
Yeah, I didn't want to give it away. So can I just keep it? Can we just pretend?
Really nice stuff in there. Like there's a Cody Fajardo canvas in there.
Yeah.
So
I didn't look at it, but I really wanted to open it up. And I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to see because I don't think I've ever seen a player canvas before. So I was really curious to see what it looked like. I am excited to see it. I am excited to judge it.
You will be judging in it. I believe our friend Christina will be judging in it. And we do have a couple others. But once again, tailgaters did see that a bunch of people jumped on the stream. What up, everybody? We are talking about the Taco Taste-Off contest, August 15th, stall 138. The registration information is there. That's ajarsenal06@gmail.com. It is best for this one. Maybe don't go off of my words for the spelling. You might want to check out the graphic on YouTube. Alternatively, though, we will be posting this graphic up on the Elks Herd on our socials. So, there is going to be 2 prizes. There's going to be a fan vote and, of course, the judges vote as well. So this is going to be really fun. And this is a part of, once again, the Taste of Tailgate series put on by the Elks Herd. So no worries. Sorry?
Oh, I said I'm excited.
I'm very excited. This is going to be good.
Are you judging?
I will be judging most likely the chili cook-off. You're going to be judging the taco contest because I'm not a good judge of tacos. I know.
Listen, it's going to be a strict kind of judging from me. I know what real tacos. I come from the streets of Mexico City. Okay, if you don't give me anything that's traditional,
here we go. Here we go.
If you give me anything weird and fusion, I mean, no, not for me.
Must be authentic.
No, I'm open to fusion as long as there's no fruit in it.
It's going to be good. And also, the one last thing, you might have to eat up to 10 tacos because there will be a maximum of 10 competitors on this one. So make sure you get your entries in. The first 10 people that register are going to be the first 10 people that get to partake in the first taco taste-off. So very, very exciting. Now let's get into the maybe less exciting part, which is a loss. Let's dig into it. This is Kathy's Herd Report, where we talk about the recent news, transactions, and everything else, including game review and preview. Kathy's Herd Report is brought to you by Shots from the Hip. Oz and Jason give you the latest in the sports world from Shotgun Sports Network, CFL to NFL, NHL to MLB, and so much more. You can find that all on Shotgun Sports Network. All right, Kathy, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about this game. But before talking about this game, let's talk about the crowd. We already talked about it with Alex, but it was a packed house. Like maybe not as many people as we were hoping on the upper bowl, but it was still a packed house. It was a great atmosphere, and it was so much fun, regardless of the result. So props to the team for making that happen. props to the team for playing so well that it brought over 30,000 people into the stadium. So that was really, really good to see.
Yeah, something like 31,727 or a number like that.
It was fantastic. I hope that we can keep it going. And I hope that regardless of the results, they can see that it's still a good team. And everybody should show up to every single game from now on. So fingers crossed. Though this game didn't really quite go our way, let's talk about it the way that we usually do, quarter by quarter. The Elks opened the game with an excellent field position thanks to Javon Sleek's 37-yard kickoff return, immediately placing the offense near midfield. Saskatchewan roughing the passer penalty helped bring Edmonton into the red zone, with Justin Rankin rushing through the middle for a touchdown on a 2nd and 3rd. That's just... I don't think we were in the stadium for that?
I had made it down just to see that, like, in the nick of time. And then you showed up after that. And when you showed up to Section X, row 6.
Yes. And I showed up when Saskatchewan responded in kind almost immediately. We had an objectionable conduct penalty on Noah Taylor. That didn't help.
1 of 2 on the night.
1 of 2. Defensively, Edmonton showed a little bit of bite there. Kenny Logan Jr., he delivered a clean sack, dropping Harris for a 6-yard loss, halting Saskatchewan's progress. We had solid gains by Cephas, Mack, Keon Julian Grant. They all moved the sticks deep into Saskatchewan territory, going into the second on a 2nd and 7 at the Saskatchewan 17. Going into the second quarter, however, once again, that red zone execution. Those gains were not enough, and the Elks had to settle for a field goal. Defense couldn't stop the following touchdown by Saskatchewan either. And once again, Noah Taylor got himself another objectionable conduct penalty to boot. Was this when he was removed from the game at this point?
Yes, after the embellishment. He got removed for the embellishment.
So once again, can you explain that? What that is?
Well, embellishment is like we see in FIFA, where somebody gets pushed and then they fly or they act like they just got shot. Noah Taylor, that is unfortunately what he did, was he got pushed and he kind of whipped around and fell to the ground, and the ref wasn't having it. Now, I will say that the officiating, there should be comments on the officiating for this game, because for both teams, the officiating was brutal. But especially in that, I never see an embellishment, and I never see a player get kicked out on an embellishment. The one confusing thing that people have been, kind of confusing with this is, they're saying, okay, well, yeah, he got kicked out because he was embellishing. Like, yeah, CFL's doing it. They got to do this for FIFA. They got to do this for soccer. He didn't get kicked out for embellishment. He got kicked out because it's his second, objectionable conduct penalty.
Okay. Then why did the embellishment matter at that point?
Well, because the embellishment matters at that point, because you can't take 2 of them within a game, otherwise you get kicked out. So he took 2 objectionable conduct, or I put it in the terms of unsportsmanlike. Like,
right. I do think it was a little bit questionable on the reffing side, but I digress. I mean, there's not much that we can do on that, but we saw it a couple of times, and we saw it in the previous game too. So pretty sure I made a couple of comments at that point of like, oh, we know who the refs' favorites are. So I don't know.
Here's the thing, though, that I'll say about the Edmonton Elks is that they have the opportunity to control the game within their hands. Mm-hmm. And because they were playing with way too much emotion, which I know we'll get to the final penalty of the night that sealed things away for the Elks, you got to be able to reel it in. Like, yes, boys, you got 31,000 fans down at Commonwealth. Yes, you guys opened up the upper bowl. Obviously these guys are fired up. Like Alex said, it was a very physical game, right? Mm-hmm. Alex did mention, go back. If you missed the interview, you got to go see it. But he did mention that, yes, it was extremely physical. Yes, we saw a reverse hurdle. Yes, we saw guys getting hit in the legs and the knees. We saw the white tent go up on Saskatchewan's side 2 or 3 times. Saw it go up once or twice over on Edmonton's side. So if you know that the injuries are going to be the factor that you can't control, control what you can in the penalties. Sure, like we said, some of them were ticky-tacky. Some of them were a little questionable. But don't give the refs the excuse to throw the flag.
Most definitely. I like the way that you put it. I agree. At many points, especially when it seems like it's a little bit questionable. If you know that you're working with somebody that perhaps may not favor you in some ways, you just don't give them the excuse, right? You just play a clean game. Let's just put it that way. But anyway, right after that, we saw a bit of back and forth, few punts, few questionable offensive calls. The Elks moved the ball enough to get another field goal. Lee contributed multiple returns, including a 30-yard kickoff return, partially negated by a penalty, and even recovered his own fumble at midfield to avoid a disaster. So that in itself was a little bit questionable as well. The highlight of the quarter probably came when Jared Brinkman recorded a sack, dropping Harris for a loss and forcing Saskatchewan to punt again. Going into the third quarter, it opened up with a fantastic defensive move. Tyrell Ford intercepted Harris at the Edmonton 38, stopping Saskatchewan's forward momentum. Unfortunately, once again, the Elks were unable to capitalize and punted the ball away. I mean, I'm
Complimentary football. Where is it?
And you know what? I'm going to speak for Tyrell Ford and say that I am not mad at this team, but I am very disappointed at this team. Like, poor guy. He's had at least a couple of those, interceptions that have turned into nothing. So it's like, you got to be able to at least capitalize a little bit, not punt it away, right? That is chances that don't come easily, so you got to take them.
Well, and it's part of strengthening the team too. Like when you know that you're putting your body on the line to intercept that ball, you get the interception, and you know your team's going to march that ball right down and go score for you, essentially. Go score for you. Yeah. That makes you feel better about putting your body on the line going forward, right? It's not guys being individuals. It's a team being a team. Like both sides of the ball are making a direct impact on the score. Yeah. That's complimentary football. So it was disappointing to see that get punted away. And I think that's kind of where the game started to peter off for the Elks.
We're going to ignore the offside penalty that opened the quarter. But then we're not going to ignore the horse-colored tackle penalty that gave Saskatchewan 15 yards after a 55-yard punt from Jake Julian. Like, come on. You know, if there's a few ones that you just don't do, that's probably one of them. 15 yards. At least Saskatchewan missed their follow-in field goal attempt.
Yeah.
But tell me, how is it that on a 1st and 9 at the Saskatchewan 9 results in a field goal? Like, and I know what happened. It was a sack for a loss of 4 yards and a 3rd down at the Saskatchewan 6 with no confidence in the O-line. That's how. But how frustrating it is to be deep in the red zone, 9 yards away on a 1st down, and you still cannot make it happen.
Well, I think it's been frustrating for years. I think this is one of those demons that the Edmonton Elks just still haven't exercised. They've exercised the BC Lions demon. They've exercised the home win demon. They, over these last 2 years, they're really battling away at demon after demon, right? Mm-hmm. Bad penalties is still one that's on the board, but they've figured out the offensive line. They've gotten that. They've defeated the return touchdown demon, the curse of Gizmo. Now it's curse of the red zone. It's curse of red zone to end zone, and that's really interesting. Like have confidence in the line, have confidence in Cole Snyder, or how about we be unpredictable and maybe pass the ball on all 3 attempts down there? Like if
we're trying to rip it through the middle when clearly it's not going to go anywhere, right?
No, this is what I said in the 3 thoughts. Why are we just rushing Justin Rankin straight up the middle, knowing fully well that the other team is predicting the rush up the middle?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very frustrating. I think, when it comes to moments that we see in every single game that I question whether they're going to make it happen or not, that it's a solid 50-50 chance, is whenever they make it to the red zone. I personally, when I'm watching the games, I don't have enough confidence to know that this team is going to make it. They're going to score when they're in the red zone. It's a solid 50-50. You don't know. Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? And I'm just stressing for no reason, right?
Well, and at this point, I mean, we're talking about 2 for 5 in this last game. We're talking about less than 50-50. We're talking about a 40% chance.
Probably. But yeah, right after that, the Double E had probably the worst drive of the game. Trevor Harris, he moved the ball. Defense wasn't really stopping that very much. Kenny Logan Jr. and Noah Curtis injured in place. Too many players on the field penalty. Like one of those dumb penalties that what are you doing?
Well, I saw 3 come on. I saw 2 go off. And I immediately, I pointed and I'm like, we got a problem. And then you saw, I believe it was Tyrell Ford, where a player was running off. And they whistled the play in as the player was running off. So therefore, he was either considered on the field or there was still one more guy out on the field, which I didn't see another one walk off. So either way, I mean, they did whistle it in at a weird time. But as per their automatic shot clock, right, as their automatic game clock, they want to keep the game rolling. Maybe did come off the field a little bit late. Maybe that was part of the problem, right? That's partially that's going to be coaching, and partially, obviously, that's on the players for yelling at their mans or getting their mans off the field when they go out there. So I think that because that had prevented technically a touchdown that was supposed to be a turnover.
Yeah.
And unfortunately got called on Edmonton, would have been a turnover. However, player was on the field, penalty ensues. Saskatchewan first down. And I think from there, that's where I believe that this game was spiraling out of control.
Well, they got a touchdown right after that. Right after. And I mean, going into the fourth, let's hope that they don't make it a habit to start quarters with offside penalties, though, because that's what happened during the fourth quarter again. And once again, red zone completion. Fajardo led them to the Saskatchewan 15, but on the 3rd and 6, forcing another field goal, only for the defense to probably be really tired at this point. They couldn't stop Harris for passing for a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And I think that's what frustrates me the most about this team. And we just talked about this, like the 50-50. It's just they get cold and then they get hot. Like you don't know what you're expecting. It goes from short games to Fajardo throwing a 51-yard bomb to Justin Rankin, immediately followed by another 17-yard completion to Austin Mack, capitalizing with a 4-yard touchdown to TJ Luther.
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden, bang, 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 right?
Man, I wish that they were a lot more, what's the word? That it was consistent, right? That you wouldn't see periods of just horrible plays and nothing happening to then.
Exactly. Or drag it out. Drag it out, right? Like don't make this like a 3 or 4 play touchdown all the way from the 30. Wear down the opposition's defense. But, unfortunately, the Edmonton Elks, sometimes they can and sometimes they can't. Like you said, it's the consistency problem.
It is a consistency thing. They still had a good chance there, though. The defense stopped the following drive, and the Elks absolutely needed to score, but a holding penalty and Fajardo getting sacked for a loss of 13 yards did not help. The defense still had one last push, but unfortunately, that's when they started getting really emotional. They played way too emotionally in those last few moments. They lost 15 yards for the roughing the passer penalty, and then they lost another 15 yards for unnecessary roughness. Jared Brickman, he was injured on that drive too, right? So I think it was an emotional game, especially in the fourth quarter. You could tell that they really wanted to win, and maybe they just started getting a little sloppy in the way that they were trying to approach that. But what do you think? Was it classy or not that Harris kneeled down on all 3 downs from the Edmonton 4 with 43 seconds left on the clock? Was it classy or was it just like rubbing salt on the wound?
I mean, well, I think honestly, I think what it is you don't have to make a play, you just don't. Because on any play, there is still that 1% chance you fumble. So if you don't need to force it, if you already have enough time run down off the clock, if you have so little time left on the clock, you
Play
can
it
take
safe.
the knee, move on. That's exactly what they did. I'm sure that they could have run up the score, but I mean, the damage was done. The Elks lost that game at that point. It was a 28-26 victory. Also, did want to for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. That is, did also want to bring up that game day baby. What up, Ken? Still said that there were still 13 after Ford ran off. So I was correct. So I did see 3 come on. I saw 2 go off. Did not see that extra man get off the field.
Yeah, so I mean, it was still a fun game. It was still a good game. I think there were quite a few frustrating moments, moments that we have talked about before. There were some good moments, of course, in the whole thing. I mean, we're still a 6-2 record.
Still 6-2. The packed house factor, that was absolutely amazing. I think that was one of the best parts of the night, right? Along with the crowd noise that comes from it.
Yeah. Great crowd, great noise, tons of noise. I know we keep hearing this, and I do agree. There's still a lot of comments about the drum line and some of the noise that happens at the wrong times during the games, which I do agree. I don't really know if we just write a note to the team or anything like that, but I mean they have to run they have to run their own programs, I guess, but definitely would have appreciated it a lot more, I think, if people were making noise at the right times. But it was still great tailgate.
Awesome tailgate. The other thing I'd like to mention too, it's a hot start for the Edmonton Elks still on the season. They got a hot start. They made it to 6-2. I mean, after 8 games, 6-2, I'll definitely take it. I mean, I for the first time in a long time, after walking away from Commonwealth Stadium with a loss, I didn't feel bad about it. I wasn't upset. Besides obviously the Clark game, right? The Clark game, a little bit different. That's preseason. It's a magical experience. Sure, you wanted the Elks to win it. It's a game about nothing. Game about absolutely nothing except for development of the team. Now, in this instance, I think because the house was so packed, it was great to see the building that buzzing, that busy. It felt like Double E football was back. We'll talk more about it in the fan forum, but do we want to talk about the brutal parts about this game?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. End zone completion, 2 for 5. Come on, penalties. Penalties were actually, I just saw that 10 for 92 yards.
It was 10 for 92. So, I mean, and those 92 were a brutally timed 92. So, I think that was my biggest issue with that is, we've said it before, we'll say it again, the timing of the penalties. Like you're at a point where you can seal up a drive. You can finish off a drive for Saskatchewan. You can turn the ball over. You can prevent your team from losing, and you take these bad penalties. You can prevent yourself from being ejected from the game. And you take those penalties. And, sure, embellishment, even that whole scenario, it is ticky-tacky, like we said, but a rule's a rule. It has to be followed, and every other team has to follow the same rules. So what are you going to do?
Learn from it.
Learn from it, in which they have a learning opportunity coming up this Saturday, 1 p.m. versus the Montreal Alouettes in McGill Stadium in Montreal. How are you feeling about it?
Good. I think we can do it.
Me too. I'm
not going to say by how much, but you're the one with the score predictions.
I tried. 32-29 was the last game at Commonwealth, which was an overtime. Now the Edmonton Elks are going back that way. I am a little bit concerned, but I'm not touchdown concerned. I think that this is going to be a 36-33 kick to win game. I think that both of the defenses are going to struggle against each other here. But I do think it'll be a kick to win. I think that Fajardo and Austin Mack are going to be playing with some emotion this weekend. I think that Fajardo maybe playing with a little bit of a chip still this weekend, playing against Montreal. But will it go that way? Well, I guess we'll find out. Keys to the game. Let's bring up my keys to the game, because I do think that there are 3 critical things here that the Elks can do in order to achieve victory. Number 1, stop the run. Travis Thies has been crazy in Montreal. The Edmonton Elks really do need to stop the run in order to stop the damage, stop any potential bleeding, especially if the score starts to get a little bit out of hand. Doesn't matter. I mean, that's going to be one of their big things in this game. Another one, though, on the Elks side of it, they need to utilize Justin Rankin.
Properly.
Is he not due?
Well, yeah. I mean, look at the start of the season and some of the stats and, how everybody was pumping him up and saying what the record was going to be at the time that the season was done. And then suddenly it just died. And, I mean, it could be
against Montreal.
Yeah. Offensive calling. It's learn how to utilize Rankin at the right times for the right moments. Like, sure, he can be a powerhouse to push through the middle with when they're going against the right defense, right? You got to know the team that you're playing against. If that's just not going to work, if it's not getting you anywhere, go on the sides. Pass, run him through the sidelines, right? You have seen him do some crazy things before. We know that he can. Just be a little bit more creative. Utilize them better.
Well, and there was a comment on the Elks Herd on our 3 thoughts post-game post. And the comment was, well, it's football. He has to run up the middle. Where is he going to go? To the side where he has linebackers waiting for him and DBs waiting for him? Well, that's also part of why you have an offensive line. Your offensive line is also supposed to maybe get creative with the running back. Maybe move your line a bit. There's certain ways that you can get the offensive line in some more creative looks as well, I believe. So
I know that we do have an injured offensive line, right? So
four were injured for that game, I believe.
Yeah. So I mean, that plays a big part, but that's when the coaching comes into play and they get a little bit creative in how you run your routes when you know that your starters are injured. Totally.
And key number 3, I got the keys. Don't take dumb penalties, simply put. It's for the Edmonton Elks, that game was mostly lost on penalties. I'm not going to say Saskatchewan ultimately won it. I think one of the first things I said when I came home was the Edmonton Elks lost that game. Sure, there was a lot of bad looks for the Edmonton Elks in that game, but there's also a lot of good looks, and they could have won it if they wouldn't have taken 92 yards in over 10 penalties.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big contributing factor, and I think that the Edmonton Elks can definitely get there. Also game day baby, Ken does say here, maybe throw the ball to the middle sometimes to keep the linebackers from keying the run, right? It's kind of like how when you have a rushing quarterback, the rushing quarterback brings a spy, right? Pulls somebody from that midfield, brings them a little bit closer to the line, takes them out of position so that you can throw the ball into those areas. Likewise, throw the ball into those areas so you can open up the run. That's the whole point of the pass run. It's all part of one unit. That's why you have RPOs and whatnot. So they need to get creative on the offensive calling for sure. The schemes could be a lot more intricate. Now I will say that it seems like Jordan Maximic is trying at times, but clearly with some of these Rankin plays, they need to figure out, like we said in key number 2, utilize Justin Rankin. We know that this guy came in as a wide receiver. Pass the ball to him more. He obviously is okay being in that position and playing wide receiver / running back. Utilize him as such. get the ball to Justin Rankin. Good things are going to happen. Let's talk about fantasy. This is What's Your Fantasy mini segment. Would like to bring up some key players this week that we have on our fantasy team because we are competing in multiple leagues, as we know. I actually have a trade from Tracy Ham and Eggs waiting for me to get to after I am on the show. All right. So weekly fantasy. This week we have the Saskatchewan Roughriders defense, and we have Trevor Harris at quarterback. I'm okay playing these guys because they are not playing the Edmonton Elks this week. I do also have Dedrick Mills at running back and Tyreek McAllister because I don't know how you don't. Tyreek McAllister has been crazy. Finishing off this team, Austin Mack, TJ Luther, and Mackay Polk. So, TJ Luther at 2.5K is a steal on the weekly fantasy. I do think that he could have some good potential this week. Who do you avoid? The Elks defense, I would say in general for any defense, I think that this game is going to run up. I've been wrong before. It could end up being a 19-17 game. We really don't know yet, but kind of going off of that first game at Commonwealth Stadium, I think that the defenses might even look a little bit sloppier in this game coming up. So I am worried about the Elks defense. Didn't see much in the way. I think we saw one interception, and that was the Tyrell Ford in that last game. Saw maybe one or two sacks, or I think, what was it? What was the number on sacks? Was it 3?
Sacks? 3.
Yeah, they had 3 sacks. So, you could go with the Elks defense, but I am going to prefer not to. Elks that you should take in fantasy. I like Cody Fajardo this week. I like Austin Mack. Rankin did go off against Montreal in that first game of the season that they had matched up in. In the second game, I am worried. I don't know if I can commit to Justin Rankin quite yet because of the offensive line. If that offensive line is healthier, I'll commit to Justin Rankin. So say maybe hold off just a little bit. And then, Vincent Blanchard, great pickup for season-long fantasy where kickers are a thing. To finish off What's Your Fantasy, other notable players that we do like is Vernon Adams Jr. at quarterback, Trevor Harris, as we have already mentioned, Xander Horvath of the BC Lions. He just had himself one heck of a game. I wouldn't doubt it if he gets some more touches. I do like Xander Horvath at running back. Obviously, Travis Thies at running back. He's great. And, of course, the Philpott brothers as well. Great national options. Wide receivers, Tyson Philpott at Montreal and Jalen Philpott at Stampeders. Also, another little note here, Kenny Lawler. If you do have Kenny Lawler, you're probably very upset right now because he's not getting the same touches as he was from Bo Levi Mitchell. Quarterback health is very, very critical in CFL fantasy for your wide receivers. So, dire scenario here for Kenny Lawler owners. Another big note, Nathan Rourke is back with the BC Lions. He is starting at quarterback this weekend. So if you have Nathan Rourke, you can finally play him again. The Lions are depleted and Hamilton is hungry. So I think that's going to be an interesting game to watch this weekend as well. All right. How about we talk about a little bit of Edmonton sports? This is the Edmonton Sports Update. I totally hit the wrong button. And we're just going to hit opening again. That'll work.
Technical difficulties today.
We got it. This Edmonton Sports Update is brought to you by Herdy's. It is about to be a fiesta in the tailgate. The Elks Herd is proud to present the 2026 Taste of Tailgate series, kicking off with a taco contest at Stall 138 on August 15th. You can also swing on by Stall 182 for your own tacos 2 hours before the Elks game versus the Argonauts. The Edmonton Elks are currently 6-2, visiting the 7-1 Montreal Alouettes this Saturday at 1 p.m. for a heavyweight matchup. You can catch the action on TSN or on 880 Ched. The Edmonton Stingers are in the playoffs. They'll face the Vancouver Bandits in Vancouver, technically Surrey, I believe, on August. Actually, Langford? Maybe. Anyways, you get the point. They are in Vancouver general area on August 6th at 8 p.m. Mountain as underdogs. Winner will be moving on to the next round of the 2026 CBL playoffs. The Edmonton Riverhawks are in action for the final game of the regular season. Playoff hopes are on the line in a battle against the Bellingham Bulls. Winning they're in. First pitch was at 6:05 p.m. Mountain. Stay up to date on the action at westcoastleague.com. Where the Elks are, you're up to date. Shout out you, shout out the viewer, shout out the listener, shout out you. You rock. This is the Elks Call. You're rocking with the Elks Herd over here on Shotgun Sports Network. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and favorite buttons. All that good stuff. Obviously, we're fish out of water here, still running the ad hoc Shotgun Sports Network studio, kitchen, and a study. So, big appreciation for everybody that is continuing to roll with us here. I think we should be back into our studio by the end of the month, which would be absolutely amazing. Still have a lot of stuff to take care of there, but we're marching towards it, so it's pretty cool. Let's play a game. I want to play a game. Up next, we're going to bring you Green or Gold, our take on hot or not. Green or Gold is brought to you by Lather. Smell damn good with Canadian-made soaps and more. The Elks Call is happy to have Lather back on the roster with a 20% off coupon. You're going to use code SHOTGUN20, all caps, no spaces. Save 20% off your order over at lather.com. LATHR.com. Smell damn good with Lather. Save damn money with Shotgun Sports. All right, Green or Gold, we're going to bring up a topic or an item, and if you like it, you're going to vote Gold. But if you don't like it, you're going to vote Green. Herd Chat, you know what to do. Throw your answers into the Herd Chat, and we will bring them up on the show. Play along with us. We do only have one topic here today because, as we know, technical difficulties are holding us back. Right. The Edmonton Elks didn't hold us back. No, they actually hooked us up because we did go into the team store and did request it because, quite frankly, during the game, we don't have time. I don't go to the team store during the game. We go to the team store. Not at the game. The team store. Maybe a weekly basis here, but our first item and our only item for Green or Gold is the 2026 season ticket holder patch. Ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think of the season ticket holder patch this year. Is it a green? Is it a gold? Catherine, what do you think?
I like it. I'm going to say gold.
Gotta go gold.
Oh, gold. I guess I gold. I don't mind it. I mean, it's a little bit more simplistic than last year's, but I mean, you still got to think of designs every single year, and that'd be a really hard thing to do. So I sympathize with the marketing team and trying to make it, crazy. But
so we can actually do this. We can actually just straight up compare. So that's right. 25. This is what the 2026 will look like. I'm going to say green. I'm saying green. Oh, and it looks like Pierre here in the Herd Chat agrees. It's a green. The reason why I'm going to say green, I don't like how it's like bobbly. It's like a combination of the two, right?
What's football?
Yeah, but then like
are you gonna make a football look?
it takes up too much real estate on the jersey.
That's true. I do agree on that.
Sue here in her chat, she agrees with you. Gold. Game Day Baby does say gold. John Kirby does say green. The team could do better with the season ticket holder gift. I don't like the patch. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
All opinion matters over here at the Elks Call and the Elks Herd. Yeah, and I mean, I do agree. I do think that it's tough to compare the season ticket holder gift. I know we talk about this, it seems like often, but it's tough to compare the season ticket holder gifts of, say, you could compare the Argonauts, but they are kind of all over the place, and not everybody gets the same thing every year. Saskatchewan, I didn't really see what they got for season ticket holder gifts. Didn't really see what Winnipeg did, but I know that the LA Raiders give their fans a crazy box every year. We've brought it up on the show. Okay? We've brought it up on the show. Like a crazy box, which is the NFL. We're talking about the NFL. But this year, like LA Raiders fans got like poker chips. It got like a whole poker set.
You can't compare. The CFL is not making money. Come on.
Now, as I will say, as a gift, I love the patch. I'm not going to say no to the patch. I will be putting it on the jersey. You can iron these on at home. That's the other nice part. It is just iron-on patch. So I do like that. I do agree with that. I think that's cool. Christine even told me, shout out Christine, over at the team store. She even told me exactly how to put it on myself, which I'll still probably let you do it. But yeah, I mean, I think that the design, not exactly my favorite. I think that it could be cooler next season. It'll be cool to see if that's what they do again. I do like that it is a personal item that you can. It is like it's a patch. I mean, I was going to say it's a badge. I guess it kind of is a badge too.
Do you remember that logo with the oil derrick that they had last year or 2 years ago?
The one that goes on this jersey right here.
Yeah, that one would be a cool one to have on a patch. That's for sure.
Yeah. What if we had customized koozies with, Section X koozie? That would be cool.
Look.
Speaking of which, you know what? We can just run a green. Let's play.
We already did.
Oh, we did on the koozies. We did. Yeah. They are so much cooler in person, I will say. I especially like that the alternate jersey is in here. This is sweet. And we did also get the Austin Mac in the white. Might leave this one in the package because it is white. And as we know, especially with beer and other libations you may have, might get a little bit dirty. So very, very cool. All right. Next segment, which is the final segment of the night. It's the fan favorite. This is the fan forum. Let's go ahead and open it up. This fan forum is brought to you by Argos Fancast. Join Clay and Sir Doug as they give you the latest from Argos land right here on Shotgun Sports Network. Now, a couple hot topics. By the way, what up, Jason in Red Deer? Jason of Shots from the Hip.
No, you got to say it the way that you say it. What's up, everybody?
He did do that, actually. He did
do that.
What's up, Jason? Let's go. Yeah, he got me good. You got me, Jason. That was awesome. All right. So the fan forum is officially opened up. In this fan forum, we're going to talk about the hottest topics surrounding the Elks and the CFL world as a whole. Question number one here. As we know, the Edmonton Elks opened up the Upper Bowl once they surpassed 27,000 tickets sold by last Friday. Now, the following day saw an additional 4,000 tickets sold for a final attendance of 31,727. Did the Edmonton Elks open up the Upper Bowl too early, or was the attendance justified for the Upper Bowl?
Yeah, I think it was justified. Give people what they want. They wanted to see the Upper Bowl open. Guess what? They got it. And then it looked a little sad because not a lot of people were there.
But see, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, could they have held it back a little bit more? Because we saw with that Labor Day rematch 2 years ago, I want to say. And last year it was pretty crazy too. But 2 years ago, it felt like it was really nuts. Like, that was the first time Double E football had truly returned was 2 years ago, and that was for one night only. Battle of Alberta Labor Day rematch. So you're saying obviously give the people what they want.
Yeah. If they hadn't opened it, people would have complained about it. If they hadn't opened the upper bowl, they would have seen how many people were in the lower bowl, and they would have said, you could have opened the upper bowl. They would have made it a thing, like, why are you not doing this? You're stopping people from buying tickets. You're shooting yourself in the foot, right? People are always going to find something to complain about. Simple as that.
True.
What people wanted was the upper bowl to be open, and they opened it up. It's up to the people now to buy the tickets to fill that part as well.
Well, and we'll talk about that in just a moment, but yeah, I mean, I do want to still kind of address this one because you are right, and I think that part of the problem with this as well was that the fans needed to be rewarded. You saw the fans buying tickets, you saw the fans telling friends, bringing friends. That's what we were saying all week long. Tell a friend, bring a friend. Get your derrieres down to Commonwealth Stadium because this is one of the biggest games you'll ever be a part of. And might not in the next 5 years, this game might even be a far distant memory, but it could also still be considered a catalyst for the Double E going forward, right? You needed a path forward to opening the upper bowl. You did need a path forward to getting the fans back into the building. And quite frankly, like, I mean, I think that's what was also really, really different about this game was that it felt like a celebration. Like the score, it was one of those weird scenarios where, sure, the score mattered, but the score didn't really matter because the Edmonton Elks are so good that they can afford a 6-2 record, let's say, right? Obviously, every win matters, especially, you know, maybe 3 games away from game 18, and you're going, man, if they would have won that one against Saskatchewan, you know, maybe this would have changed the season or whatever, right? Maybe those are conversations that we have later on. But as far as this direct narrative, it was a celebration. Every media channel was talking about the Edmonton Elks. We've talked about how bad this team is at marketing in the past. You've heard me say the word billboards on this on this show more than I've said the words Michael and Riley, which everybody take a drink. Morley Scott was saying Michael Riley a lot, and I didn't want to be unprofessional last week with him on the show. But it was a celebration all week. The people did what they were supposed to do. They bought tickets. And I believe it came down to the point where the fans needed to be rewarded, and you need to be able to show people what they've done. And the fact that the Edmonton community came together at long last and said, yeah, it's time to return to Commonwealth for a game that isn't the Labor Day rematch. It's time to return to Commonwealth because this team deserves it. That's what that felt like. The whole week was a celebration. I am glad that they opened it up. I do think that 27,000 is a little, you know, I think it was something that was imposed by Chris Morris for that specific scenario. It's one of the 3 times that I believe, because I'm just sticking with this number 3 number for the rest of the season. Last episode, we had talked about it. How many times are they going to open up the upper bowl?
Right.
I said 3, and I didn't even have this game on the radar. I just said 3 in general, said maybe potentially this one coming up, but most likely Labor Day rematch. And of course, if they make it to the playoffs, a home playoff game, you'd like to think that they're going to get more than 30,000. So I think that in this circumstance, you know, I think that it might have been a little bit early. They could have packed that lower bowl more because we've seen them do that in the past. But I think that the scenario offered it, gifted it, and granted it. I think that having even, you know, Section O, which we're going to be talking to Matt over on the Elks Call next week, which will be really fun. We're going to be talking about what it's like for the ozone to finally get back up into the ozone. Section O, you know, those guys, Jay Ferguson, who's your jabroni, Rusty Shackelford on Twitter, great stuff. You know, him and Matt, and, you know, I don't know if Lance and some of the original other Section O group went up there, but I mean, guys had their jerseys, right? And guys were up there and girls were up there. People were loving it. People of all folks were loving the upper bowl. We do hear that, yes, there is going to be a CDMFA game where they will open the Upper Bowl later on as well. It's tough to consider that an opening because the Edmonton Elks basically gift them a section of tickets up there, right? So, but yeah, I mean, let's take a look at the comments. Jason says, "Did you just say if they make it to the playoffs?" Well, a home playoff.
When they make it.
When you are correct.
We manifesting around here, okay?
We manifesting. We got to get it. Eskimo Way, baby, as per Ken. Charlie Defoe, what up, Charlie? We did see your comment earlier. He does say, let's remember, Upper Bowl has the best view. It does. Middle Upper Bowl is, if you want to watch football at its purest, the Upper Bowl of Commonwealth Stadium is one of the greatest. Eddie Hervey's comments, I'll just quickly speak on it, just as a quick point here. He did repeatedly use the words Edmonton Eskimos, but he was using the words in the sense of the brand of football they're trying to play, which we call it. You've heard me say it. You've heard me say that term, but you've also heard me say double E football, the double E way. Yeah. Said it on CBC, right? We say it multiple ways, but Ed Hervey was mostly saying that A because he's Ed Hervey and he can, and he is a former Eskimo, but B mostly to describe what they're doing and to let fans know that, hey, even if you did cheer for that name, you can come on back down to Commonwealth Stadium and see that exact same brand of football. Love to see that, right? Let's move on to question number 2 because it ties right in. People are quick to talk about the upcoming attendance for the Argonauts game, but past indicators show that the Argonauts game usually is not a heavily attended game. Kathy, you can attest to that. The Argonauts games usually aren't that busy. I think I've been to one with like 2,000 or 3,000 fans. What is a realistic expectation for attendance moving forward, and how does Edmonton keep the hype alive?
Well, I mean, the realistic expectation is definitely less than last game, I think.
But how much less?
No, I don't know. It's hard for me to really put a number into that, but I think it would have been a different narrative, as you like to call it, if we had won that game, because we know that winning solves everything. If suddenly we had been 7-1, that would have been a reason for people to be like, "Oh my goodness!" But in many ways, even though we're still 6-2, and that's still a feat, it was still after a loss, right? So what does that translate to? Like, are people going to be like, "Oh, am I going to pay again to see a loss?" Right? It instills a little bit of doubt. So I don't expect the same attendance as last game. It's probably going to be less.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
No, we just got to keep winning to bring those numbers up.
Just keep winning. I like that. I have that in my list as well. Continue to listen to the fans to help shape the game day product, right? The product at home. Sorry, pardon me. I think that you were correct in what you said earlier, right? Let's say the drum line, them playing at the same time as offense being on the field. I think that's been an issue. I think that's a reason for concern. But let's be real. Even if the Edmonton Elks were 7-1 going into this game against Toronto, let's say they're 8-1 at that point, and they somehow beat Montreal as well. Let's give it the extreme circumstance. Let's say the Edmonton Elks don't win or don't lose any games between, Saskatchewan round 1 and Toronto Argonauts. What happens if that attendance is back down to 20,000? Right? The narratives in the media are what I kind of follow the most at times. The reason why is because some people you'll never make happy. The Saskatchewan game was a bit of an anomaly. It was, you had Riders fans and you had Elks fans all coming together to fill the place. I think that it would almost be worse if the Elks had a better record going into that game, because I think we're going to see a similar attendance no matter what. It might be a couple thousand. If they were undefeated, then sure, it's a completely different story, right? But they weren't ever going to be undefeated at this point of the season. I do not believe.
Yeah.
So I think them coming off of a loss, we'll see what happens with this Montreal game. That's not really going to move the needle on that Argonauts game. I think 20,000 would be a great attendance to have. right? The Edmonton Elks, they in years past, they might have gotten 15,000 or 10,000 or somehow even less, right? I think 15,000 is like that bare minimum number that we've been hitting this year for attendance.
Yeah, I do see, I can't bring it up, not on my end, but I do see Pierce comment. That's another thing as well. Rider fans travel extremely well. Attendance of 4 Toronto games does not have that. So it's a lot easier to also fill the stands, even with the opposition, so the opposing team's families, because they will travel for it. But for Toronto, not necessarily, right? So that also makes an impact on the number of seats that you're selling.
Well, exactly. You're right. You're right. It's going to be interesting. It is a 1 p.m. game on August 15th as well, which might actually help the attendance. I think a nice early afternoon. You can get your game in, enjoy it as a matinee, go home, go to dinner, go do whatever after, right? Continue your Saturday. I think that there's we have AC/DC coming up on Sunday as well, which I did get a notification about the Friday preview, so that's really cool. There will be doing a pop-up shop at the Starlight Room Saturday and Sunday for AC/DC as they have taken over Commonwealth Stadium. If you want blood, you've got it. Let's get it up. Are you ready to get thunderstruck? It is going to be a fantastic time at Commonwealth Stadium, and we hope that we see you down there. I know that Edmonton has a great amount of AC/DC fans, and it's going to be great. Pierre here on the attendance talk. Hope for 22,000. Chris Morris's game average goal. I like that. Go straight for the goal. And I think that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers game, I think that, kind of the trajectory, just finishing off the topic of attendance, I think if you hit that 22 mark, the 20 to 22 for that Bombers game, 25K plus, and then we have the Labor Day series. So, and I think at this point, the way that the Labor Day series is billing is very, very good. I think that by the time it comes to Labor Day, the Stampeders are going to be in a competitive spot based on the way that they're currently playing. I think that the Edmonton Elks will be ahead of them. I don't know how much farther ahead they will be. I think that the Elks can win, at least 2 of the next 4 games. I think that those are, definitively winnable. I think that they can win all 4. So, but as far as 2 of those games, I think that, if you had to put a percentage on it, I think that they can go 2 for 4 easily. At bare minimum, they should be able to do 2 for 4 on this next stretch. So we're coming up to a great Labor Day. We're going to be talking about Labor Day next week on the show with Section O. The X's and O's are going to be linking up. I'm very, very excited for that. Jason also does say, he says, imagine the attendance. So I got to be able to scroll up. There we go. Just imagine how insane the W would be if Rankin was actually living up to his potential. Oh, Jason, we know it is a topic over here very, very often. Charlie also does say Elks need to match Bombers attendance. Serve bigger hot dogs. This could be the solution. I like this.
Bigger hot dogs.
Bigger hot dogs.
The green and gold hot dog bag.
Well, we're going to be bringing back the green and gold slider, the slider version of the hot dog for our tailgate. Very, very excited about that one. Jason also does say prayers that Mother Nature cooperates for the AC/DC show because 2009 is a thing of the past. They will not let Angus Young play Thunderstruck while the Thunder is actually happening at the same time.
Not after Post Malone's concert, no.
That's
let's hope for that.
Last week I was talking as much about the Post Malone concert as I was the Edmonton Elks game. So it was a really weird transition in the week, but and of course the Elks Call was right in the middle of it. All right, let's go ahead and shut the door on the fan forum. The fan forum is closed. Thank you so much, everybody, for participating. And like that, we are at the end of today's episode. What a banger. What a banger. Let's give some round of applause for Alex Dormuth of the Piffles podcast for joining us once again on the Elks Call. That was a ton of fun. Give him another applause for that. Shout out you, the viewer, the listener, for rocking with the Elks herd on the Elks Call. as you know, things are a little bit challenging right now with our mobile studios we're running. Like we said, hoping to be back in the saddle down in the studio by the end of the month. Yeah, and I mean, if you were watching tonight, you were watching on Shotgun Sports Network or the Elks Herd on Facebook. If you were listening to this episode, which massive shout out you. If you were listening, that's going to be on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Edmonton Sports Talk, or wherever you get your ear candy. That is the end of the episode. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine.
This was the Elks Call. We are the Elks Herd, and we will check everybody on the next episode with Section O. We'll check you all later, everybody.
Have a good night.
Cheers.